Hi, I'm Charles. I own and direct Kaleidoscope Rock Academy here in the Seattle area, and I've been doing a series of videos about musical myths. And myths are something that always contain a grain of truth, but generally get their mythological status from being generalizations. This particular musical myth is the ukulele is a toy, or put differently, it's not a serious instrument. Every myth has its kind of negative musical consequences, and the problem with this particular myth is there's a couple. It might discourage someone who's really excited about playing an instrument because they've heard ukulele or seen ukulele from actually studying ukulele. You know, it might scare a parent to say, hey, you can't play that, that's not serious, go study piano instead. The other thing, of course, obviously, is that if you kind of see it as a limited instrument, you're not going to have your mind open to all the things that you might play on it. If someone just said that about guitar, even though it's totally untrue about guitar as well, you might think, well, there's nothing more for me to learn on this instrument because clearly, you know, the experts have told me that that's all you can do. The grain of truth to this myth, I think there's two. One is that when you buy cheap instruments, they play like cheap instruments. So because of its size and its history and culture, ukuleles are often priced really cheap, made really cheap. You know, I've seen them in stores in all different colors for like $30 a pop. But that's a similar problem that you have with like nylon string guitars made for beginners, or even like the recorders that everyone has to learn how to play in school. You buy a thing that's like $6 made out of plastic, you can't expect it to, like a recorder, to have much tone. So the cheaper something it is, regardless of what type of instrument it is, the cheaper it is, the more it's going to seem like a toy. I had a family that had 4 kids they wanted them to take lessons on guitar together. They went to Amazon and bought these colored guitars that you could tell them apart that were literally like $40 a piece on Amazon, and they were almost impossible to tune. So I'm going to show you the difference today between a couple of my different electric acoustic ukuleles, where we might see that there's a difference in quality between these two price points. The other kind of element of truth in this myth is the fact that a lot of people get excited about ukulele, especially in the last 5 years of guitar and string instrument lessons, because they've heard 21 Pilots or Paramore, different popular bands using ukulele as an instrument to build a song around, pop song around, an instrument like Hey Soul Sister by Train to introduce a song. And a lot of those uses of ukulele are pretty surface level. It's like they're just playing a 4-chord pattern. That being the most popular pattern in pop music history. My dilemma as a teacher, I've gotten increasing requests to teach kids ukulele over the past few years. I found pretty quickly that surface level of pop music engagement in ukulele passes by pretty quick, and then you've got a student who's been doing like 4 or 5 months of lessons with you, and you realize you got to do something more with it. Partly because playing ukulele myself, I realized it is a proper instrument. There's a lot I can do with it, just like any guitar. Also, just the necessity of having a kid who wants to play, who's interested in playing and practices. You know, I gotta come up with things for them to play. You know, that's a pretty good motivation there as a music teacher. But also probably because kind of the stubbornness to pursue. You know, it's kind of my personality to be exhaustive in how I study things, so I'm kind of stubbornly trying to prove the naysayers wrong. Like I just did some videos this month of how to play all 12 major scales on ukulele. You end up with things like this interesting scale. Uses a lot of the ukulele fretboard. Whoops. That's an A major scale played on ukulele. Well, hey, that's totally doable. I could play it. I also did a video recently that I'll post this channel sometime where I plugged my ukulele into my Spark distortion guitar amp sound and played Sweet Song of Mine. So there's a lot of things that you can figure out how to do on a ukulele. But let's take a look at my 2 electric ukuleles here, and then after that I'm going to play some clips of some really amazing players from YouTube. Because hey, if you really want to dispel this myth, you have to look no further than YouTube. There's some pretty amazing playing examples out there. So this is a Lanikai. Came from Scoopy Deal today on Musician's Friend. I think the list price was close to $200, but I got it for like $90 or something like that. It has a Fishman pre-band EQ, built-in tuner up here, and we're gonna plug it into my Fishman Loudbox Mini, see what it sounds like. So when you tune the ukulele up, playing all those open position chords pretty easy, but one of the tests or one of the things to look at is, can I really get past that point on the fretboard? Can I move up and have it be in tune and sound good? Because if it's going to be a real instrument, I got to be able to get out of the open position. So let's test that out here with this cheaper ukulele. Looking for a felt pick here. Hang on. Just kind of helps me think like a guitarist to use a pick, right? So here's my native G chord. So if I move that shape up higher, it gets a little hard to play up here on these guys. So this particular ukulele inclination is not super great. Inclination meaning the degree to which it stays in tune as you move up and down the fretboard. It gets sketchy up here, but it's pretty passable for that range. You could actually play little bar chord shapes on ukulele. In fact, if you've been avoiding bar chords, they're easier on this. So this is like the upper 4 strings closer to the floor of a bar chord shape on a guitar. One of my guiding lights, of course, as a guitar teacher is transfer as much guitar knowledge to the ukulele as possible. And the ukulele has 3 strings 3, 2, and 1 that are a guitar tuning just a 4 steps higher. So you can play lots of little scale fragments that you might know from playing guitar. I actually really enjoy the way that blues stuff sounds on ukulele. It's kind of funny. This last string is kind of tough because it is tuned a 4th above that string on guitar, but it's also an octave past that, so it kind of screws up all your scale phrasing. Listen to this. It has that surprisingly high root note instead of it being where you expect it to be. So I bought this one first, but then as I got more into teaching ukulele, I was at Northwest Guitars and saw a more expensive ukulele, so we're going to try that one out. That is a store we lost during the pandemic here in Washington State. Very sad, great family-run business. This is a Oregon company breed glove. This ukulele was on sale for about $400, so you get an idea, a very different price point. What's funny is the built-in electronics are not as elaborate as the other one. This is a breed glove system. It only has 1 tone knob, not 3, but I think it sounds a lot better. So let's play some chords. Can you tell the difference? That's the question. And this one is a little bit bigger, so a lot more, like, I'm not running into the body of the guitar playing high like it was on that last scale. So it's just a bigger instrument, a little bit easier to play. But notice the inclination's also a lot better. So that chord is completely in tune up there. So that gives me the confidence that I'll be able to play more of this fretboard and more things like a guitarist would without sounding out of tune, or like I'm playing a out of tune toy. So it has a little bit more character and consistent brilliance as you play chords higher up. Whoops. I also try that blues stuff again. So this one's a lot brighter. The other one has kind of a mellower tone. Might be good for certain things, but when I play this breed glove, I really feel like I'm playing an instrument. So again, I think the cost has something to do with the myth. So let's take a look at those couple of those YouTubers. I think you'll find that people who are posting virtuoso YouTube videos are probably playing instruments at least as expensive as this. Just like anything, you get what you pay for in instruments, so you really want to, buy something that facilitates your journey. So yeah, here's the first one. I'm going to try to link these into the video more directly, but right now I'm just watching them on my screen. This one is this kid. He looks like a kid. Feng E, F-E-N-G-E is his YouTube channel. It's a chord melody version of Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's pretty freaking amazing. Different tuning than normal, which partly is what enables him to do this. And I have experimented with some different tunings on ukulele, but it just kind of shows you how much sound and how many parts you can get out of something like this. So let's give it a listen. So that's all on the lowest string. Well, lowest on guitar. This is a really cool part coming up. So playing a true chord melody on an instrument with only 4 strings is impressive. So he's keeping a bass line and the vocal melody going at the same time. I like how he gets what kind of sounds like a James Bond chord progression there instead of the original. Take over all this guy's content, so we'll stop it there. But like, that's about a third of that video. You can check it out on YouTube. Very impressive. Thanks, Feng, for the opportunity to use your video there. And then this one was from a TED Talk 2010 on, I don't know if I'm gonna say this guy's name right, Jake Shimabukuro. I might be massacring that, but it's just a little piece of Bohemian Rhapsody. If you can turn that into a ukulele piece, it's a real instrument. This is right before the guitar solo. I think this is the guitar solo now. Yes. I'll stop there. You can go check out the whole video, but like, that's really elaborate. I mean, every instrument has its challenges. The challenge with ukulele is your pitch range is higher than guitar and you have less strings. And then the string that would give you the lowest notes is tuned an octave up. So you have a very high range that's kind of limiting. It's almost like having a 3-string instrument, because traditionally the 4-string and the 1st string are very close. They're only a whole step apart, so they're almost like functionally the same string as far as pitch range opportunity goes. So it's a challenging instrument to play like a real instrument, but it's definitely a real instrument. Those challenges are just part of what it is. And I've really enjoyed actually like teaching people how to read notes on ukulele, which I've now done with 1 student, or 2 students actually, which really puts my brain in a tizzy because I've been reading a 4th lower than that on guitar for decades. But you know, if someone's going to devote themselves to the study of the ukulele, I'm going to want to make it as real of an instrument for them as possible. So I hope you enjoyed this myth dispelling video, and if you like this kind of thing, definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for watching.